any and all distractions out of my life has been proving to be very difficult, as very soon I've noticed that basically everything can serve as a distraction. I've already, talked a lot about what it means for me to be distracted, what to distract from. And today I really wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've been noticing throughout my day today, one of which is boredom, an essential context that I would never have minded that much because I never experienced it that much, simply because I've kept myself super busy most of the time. I wanted to talk about what I've experienced today as somewhat bliss and curse in one. How I am, as I shared, sometimes just laying on the couch, allowing myself to not experience, not think, not do anything, which has been proving again to be very difficult because I've been having that habit of continuously being busy and occupied most of the time. I wanted to talk about how what the difference is between distraction and entertainment, and I would like to start with that now. The distinction between, or say like the difference, not so much as the distinction between distraction and entertainment, is that both serve the same purpose. Entertainment as well as distraction seem to keep me busy, seem to serve as a purpose of feeling that I have some purpose, some meaning to my daily life. I've experienced that entertainment can be everything, distraction can be everything. When I'm trying to distract myself, then it's more like I try to keep myself entertained. I keep myself in a state of small, continuous, pleasurable moments. And I've been noticing that when I'm cutting out distractions, like the four major players that I've shared with you at the beginning of this challenge, what it's basically about and why I'm doing it, right? Remember that I came from a situation where I noticed that. So it was basically okay. Let me just recap that, just for the sake of this video log here. And again, these video logs are mainly as accountability systems meant to help me stay on track. So it was basically about a little more than a week ago now. This is number 9. So Tuesday a week ago, I caught myself in a loop of I was playing a video game to decompress. I was noticed that I was working all day. I was busy all day. And in the evening, I thought to myself, like after a very good recovery session in the gym, again, I want to highlight that I'm usually training around, say, 5 to 8 hours per day, be that giving classes or doing my own routines. That has significantly reduced itself ever since. I've been taking days off where I didn't train at all. But that particular day, it was a Tuesday, I noticed that I did everything right according to the book. I came home, but I noticed like there was not much pleasure, not much, button press and you feel good kind of situations. So I came back home. I was relaxed. My body was soft. I was doing all the stretching and the everything that I teach my clients. And so when I came home, against my initial intention, I went to the computer. I started the game. I started to play the game. And it was around, I think the first time that I noticed it was around like maybe 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock at night, that I noticed like, okay, so now I would like to stop the game. And I just didn't. And I felt like as if something was steering me, was controlling me beyond my actual will. So that was the first time, and then I just continued playing, and I wanted to stop, but I just simply couldn't. And it was around like 1:30 at night that I noticed the second time I really want to stop now. And my cursor, the cursor of the mouse, just, I hovered over there to stop it and I didn't, but I really wanted to. But then obviously I didn't want it to bad enough. So I continued playing again. And eventually, like I think it was like 2:30 maybe, or a little earlier, where I just had to stop because I noticed like the pain was too much. Thinking about the next day having to go to work, doing early classes in the gym, where I just stopped and I went to bed very, very angry with myself, very frustrated, and I felt like I'm not in control. And that's literally when I noticed that I am actually like in an addiction behavior. And I was never an addicted person. Like um, I never felt that I'm that addicted. Like whenever I would abuse drugs and stuff, like I don't know, like more than a decade ago, I was always able to cut it out. The moment I felt like things are getting out of hand, I feel imposed, I feel contracted or restricted by means of these substances, by means of like relationships sometimes or anything else. That was when I always was able to cut it out. But in terms of say entertainment, I want to put it that way now. I was never under the impression that I was addicted at all. I was just watching series, I was just reading books, I was just playing video games, or social media wasn't that big of a deal for me since I just used it mainly for working purposes. But still, it played a role, right? It was also part of the mix. And so it was that realization last Tuesday when I recognized like this is a behavior of an addict, right? And I'm dealing, just to highlight again, like I'm a fitness and a mental coach, and I help a lot of people to build their body, to build their mind, to strengthen their mind-body connection, etc., etc. And in that particular moment, I thought, like, man, like, what are you preaching? What are you teaching people if you're not even able to cut out simple distractions and entertainment out of your life? So laying in bed then, like Tuesday last week, and noticing like I'm super frustrated and super late, I'm super tired, and I wasn't able to cut it out when I wanted to, was the realization for me that I have, like, that I observe here a behavior, an addiction behavior. So that made me wake up the following day and deciding, okay, I'm going to go onto this little mission to see how is that going to play out for me in 21 days to try and cut out any and all distractions. I didn't know what I'm getting myself into. And I'm only highlighting this as it's day number 9, and some people are just tuning in and maybe they just forget why I'm doing all of this. So ultimately, when I stopped utilizing distractions and entertainment and stuff, I started to notice there's a lot of space now free that suddenly was open, and people would, things, projects, and new input was suddenly able to arrive in my life. Because before I was, as I said yesterday, just sending out that message that I'm busy, right? I'm busy all the time. Hence, like, there's not much that can actually come to you unless it's really, really necessary. So today I noticed that I just wanted to talk about the differentiating factor between distraction and entertainment. And it has a lot to do with that need for pleasure, that desire that there is something that gives you that sense of accomplishment and pleasure, that makes you feel well, that makes you feel warm and accomplished at the end of the day. And so I know a lot of people are dealing with that when they are trying to just get the day out of their head, maybe work or some form of challenges in relationships, maybe some conflict, and then they're resorting to some sense of accomplishment, warmth, of pleasure, etc. And I myself as well found myself dealing with that now during this challenge a lot. Today, again, like, I noticed in the morning I woke up, I took a long time to do my morning routines, attended to my plans, I took care of my environment, my place that I'm hosting, like I'm staying in that right now. And then I did my meditation, and afterwards, once I started to work, I noticed, like, I just wished nothing more than being able to just sit down and read a book or maybe watch a series. Just the imagination the idea, the visualization of me sitting down and just being comfy and watching something was incredibly alluring, was incredibly compelling. I didn't, of course, because I told myself, like just pull through. But then throughout the day, I've noticed more and more that I was just craving little pleasure-inducing moments, and I think in, I think it was in in the form of a little chocolate bar that then went to three chocolate bars that I was never the sweets kind of person. I mean, with my daily business, etc., doing fitness all the time, chocolate is never something that you're really looking for simply because it's just not in the books. But then I ate one, I ate two, I ate three, and I noticed like, oh, I'm actually giving myself something. So nourishment was synonymous with entertainment and distraction. And I think that's where it became very difficult for me to start to identify, like, listen, what I'm actually craving is not just entertainment, not just distraction. I'm also craving some form of nourishment and some form of feeling of I'm actually taking care of myself. Something is good in my life. Something feels quality, feels well to me, right? I'm doing well to me. So once I noticed that, I laid down and I started to ask myself, hey man, what are you actually feeling? And so the other element that I just wanted to highlight today is self-compassion, self-empathy, and how important that is for us in situations of strife to just simply check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, like, how are you actually feeling? Because that's what we would love someone else to ask us when we are in difficult moments, right? So I asked myself, hey, how you're doing, how you're feeling. And there was one time after the other, because I repeated the process, one time after the other, I had to recognize that I felt grumpy, I felt unsafe, I felt unsure, I didn't know what to do with myself, I felt like I felt deeply dissatisfied. And the more I asked myself, and also asking myself, what would you need right now? I noticed like what I really needed was the feeling that something is inherently pleasurable, something is inherently satisfactory, satisfying throughout my daily life. So I was dealing with that today, and I noticed like it left me like super dissatisfied, not knowing how could I give myself that beyond my usual mechanisms and methodologies of distracting and entertaining myself. And eventually I came up with the idea during a coaching session to this afternoon that I did for a long time, some time ago, um, uh, helping myself with cues, right? I set up like lists basically where I would ask myself, so how often did you feel grateful today? How often did you feel playful? Or how often did you feel honest today? How often have you been, um, you know, uh, uh, addressing these elements in your daily life? And so I've set it up. I help myself again with that, trying to put my focus a little bit away, because again, like the confirmation bias really quickly allows you to stay very trapped in certain thought patterns, such as like, hey, I need pleasure, I need pleasure, I need pleasure. Knowing that, eventually I came to the conclusion I really need another focus. And today I thought, okay, let me try this and see how I can help myself, give myself a hand in terms of finding pleasure intrinsically, and not just hoping that something outside of me is eventually giving me the pleasure that I'm so desperately craving, right? So I just want to leave you with this. If you want to try out something, just to help yourself, try to write down perhaps a couple of things that you would like to focus on more during the day, such as how often have you been grateful? How often have you been thinking about something that is um, uh, uh, great in your life? And then just, check it off once, or write down how many times that you've been able to do that and see how that goes. For me, that has been a game changer today. I literally, the moment I ask myself, how often have you been playful today? I noticed I wanted to be a little bit more playful, simply to put another mark on my little list there. And again, this is a self experiment. This is something that I'm doing for myself personally, and I'm doing these live check-ins here, these video logs, daily, simply to keep myself accountable. And if that is helping you in the process, I'm all the more happy. In any case, have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. I really hope that you are enjoying what you're doing, that you're not too much wrapped in entertainment and distraction. And I'm going to check in tomorrow with you. Take good care of yourself.